We're so honored today to have important discussions about Congress and the support of the work that we're doing. You know, I'd like to remind people that all of this work, which is so critical, is dependent in terms of permanency within Medicare and Medicaid on congressional activity. So having congressional champions is so critically important for the work that we do. And today, it's just such an honor to welcome Congressman Earl Blumenauer from Oregon. Let's give him an extraordinarily important round of applause. I was just saying to him a moment ago, when we first started C-TAC, no one was more supportive and has continued to be supportive in the House of Representatives than Congressman Blumenauer. We have a champion here who is just extraordinary, and it's such an honor to have him here with us today and have a discussion about the activity in Congress and how we continue to proceed with supporting palliative care, serious illness care, and the work that we're doing. So, Congressman, thank you for being with us, and we are so thrilled to have you here and hear from you.
I hate this angle. I can't really. Do you mind if I?
You want to sit? Yeah,
stand up
wherever you'd like to
so
go.
I can look at people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'll stay here so you don't have to look at me.
That's a win-win. Now, if only we could fix it so they didn't have to look at me, we'd all end up ahead. Well, thank you. I really do appreciate an opportunity to be with you again. You know, I feel like every time I'm making a presentation, I should apologize for the federal government. I mean, with everything that's going on in the world, war and peace, climate change, disruptions, we ought to be able to have people here act like grown-ups and deal with things that don't need to be partisan or complex.
Right.
And I think of the struggle we had for a decade to have the federal government place a value on an end-of-life conversation. Why did that take a decade? But we won. We actually have a benefit. We have an opportunity moving forward. We're now trying to see if we can expand in terms of who's authorized to be able to access it. Being able to deal with modernizing the hospice benefit. I mean, you know, it's the change that's taken place. You know, people in hospice. I mean, Jimmy Carter's going to have his another 100th birthday. It deals with the power of treating people right and be able to harness medical professionals and families to make people sure that their wishes are honored and respected. Being able to modernize that benefit actually is going to enable people to live longer and more productive end-of-life period. It'll actually save the federal government money if we're able to do it right. You know that. You know that. Now, we're arm wrestling with CMS, trying to deal with some of the abuses in the hospice, for-profit hospice industry. I mean, it is just scandalous. I mean, I think probably all of you have read that article that was in the New Yorker about phantom hospice. I mean, people who think they have a hospice program. It's outrageous that people are looting the federal government, shortchanging patients, and their families. As I say, it shouldn't be that hard. We look forward to being able to work with you as you unleash the power of 500 of you who are right on Capitol Hill. And I will tell you that being able to, at some point, we will, I think, have a speaker, and at some point, people will be back into the swing of things. But taking advantage of your visits to Capitol Hill to make the case to the certified smart young people who actually run the place. If you get stuck talking to a senator or a congressman, make the best of it. But frankly, I mean, Asha's here from my office. If the choice is talking to me or Asha, that's not even close. You talk to Asha. These young people on Capitol Hill take the time to read the legislation. They talk to each other. They run in packs. There's power in terms of being able to engage them. And most of them are not caught up in the politics and this wheel spinning. You have a message to deliver in terms of end-of-life care, in terms of doing a better job coordinating how we provide services. We no longer have to be spending twice as much as any other civilized country on health care for outcomes that for most Americans are suboptimal. The stories that's in the Post this week, yet another series that illustrates the problems, how far we have to go, and the fact that things that we do not have to be rocket science. I'm deadly serious about the opportunity to upgrade our hospice benefit, modernize it. This will have a profound effect in terms of being able to have quality of life for people when they need it. There are other simple steps. We could stop subsidizing a diet that makes Americans sick. Some of you are involved with programs, writing a prescription for healthy food. We have some healthcare providers that are stepping up and making that expenditure because it actually saves them money while providing a better quality of life and health. We're to the point where we're running out our string. There are arguments here on Capitol Hill that people are willing to shut down the government because we are spending too much money. Really? The issue is what we are spending it on. And you have a whole host of ideas about ways to be able to make those investments, to be able to improve health outcomes, quality of life, the empowerment of patients and their families and providers. I'm just appalled at what we're seeing with venture capital invading area after area after area, pharmacy practices, anesthesiologists, water systems, my favorite, for-profit hospice. These are areas that expose our vulnerabilities. But I do think that your message to the certified smart young people with simple, bite-sized choices that will improve quality of care and save money and respect the wishes of patients, their families, and their providers is a pretty simple message. And I hope that you hit Capitol Hill when you have an opportunity to do so with enthusiasm and a focus that you are able to help save us from ourselves. The things that you know how to do will help energize those certified smart young people who serve, but to be able to squeeze more value out of the healthcare system. It is a scandal we spend so much and get so little, and that it is so complex. We can do better than that. The work that we're doing with you on end-of-life care, in terms of modernizing this is low-hanging fruit. No, it's not low-hanging fruit. It's picking the fruit up off the ground. And I hope that you carry your messages to Capitol Hill, to your representatives, to the certified smart young people who work with them, about ways to make a difference, providing more choice, more protection, more valuable. This is absolutely essential if we're going to be able to have a government that functions. There is so much opportunity in terms of simple, common sense initiatives, and I'd like to start with some of them that we're working with you on, to be able to make the point with passion, with conviction. You're part of what's going to save America from itself. We're not going to solve it by throwing more money, by having more audits, by having more senseless routines, hoops to jump through. We don't have to do that. I look forward to being able to work with you to refine some of these approaches going forward. Global budgeting is something that could make a huge difference. We cut a deal with our Medicare waiver in Oregon. The federal government gave us a $2 billion down payment, and we made a commitment that we would work together to make sure that we met the service metrics and that we kept the increase for Medicare at 3.4%. And we've done that for 4 years. Actually, the federal government has already been repaid for their entire $2 billion advance, and it's $1 billion to the good, and every year the federal government gets more money out of that. Being able to have programs that provide opportunities for people in the system to share in the benefits of saving money and streamlining it. Maybe we make sure that some of these nonprofit hospitals provide charity care. I mean, this is not wildly controversial. Sitting on billions of dollars of reserves when we're not actually meeting the needs of people and we're shaking down patients. That's not who we are and what we need to do. Now, I'm not trying to, on a broad brush, criticize everybody. I have many friends in the healthcare space who are doing their best, working hard within the system. But that's part of the problem. We need to change that system to be less burdensome, less cumbersome, less bureaucratic, and have it performance-based. So we can start dealing with end-of-life care, with a hospice benefit, being able to provide value going forward while we improve quality of life for patients, their families, and their providers. But I hope we don't stop there. I hope we're able to expand this conversation, looking at the areas in our healthcare system that defy description. Problems with the federal government, and again, some of my best friends are bureaucrats. I admire them. It's been a brutal system that they've been involved with in terms of the challenges for delivery of healthcare, supply chain issues, workforce issues. I get it. But that's no excuse for us to accept the system as it is, to not be able to work together on reform. I mean, there are pages and pages of reforms, MPAC, I mean, MedPAC, These are things that are tried and true that will make a difference in terms of being able to work with Medicare Advantage, to be able to have it meet the promise that we had when I initially supported it. I've been one of the strongest supporters of Medicare Advantage in Congress. But the system that we set up, the metrics that were going to be observed, the star rating was going to actually be star rating, not grading on a curve starting from C and going up, holding people accountable. Again, these are things that should be possible. This is how the system was set up, and sadly is not administered the way that we designed it. I didn't lead the Medicare Advantage letter this Congress because I didn't feel comfortable circulating something that didn't put an emphasis on accountability. Performance-based, accountable, not ducking the hard questions, and being able to build coalitions with men and women and interest groups that want the system to work better. So I will stop and get off my high horse here for a moment. I appreciate the contributions you make in very tangible ways to make the system better. I look forward to being able to work with you this year on being able to make some progress, because I think we're going to find when we get through this, when we start functioning again, I think there are people who will be hungry to make a difference. And you know things that will make a difference. And I look forward to being your partner on Capitol Hill to make them happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Okay. Do you have a minute per question?
Any of that make any sense? Someone have a comment for me?
Any comment? Well, my comment is thank you for your continued support. We look forward to continuing to work together to advance our cause. You know, all the work that we do puts the patient in the center. It's about quality care and focusing on the needs of the patient. And so we appreciate your words of support, but also your leadership to continue to help us to advance our cause. It's really critical.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Next, I'm going to invite Megan. Come on up, Megan. We're going to move to our discussion next, and then we're going to end with a video from Senator Mark Warner. We're so fortunate to have Congressman Blumenauer as an ally, as a champion for us in the House of Representatives. Let's give him another round of applause for his ongoing support for us. You know, we're equally fortunate to have champions in the United States Senate. And we're going to do just what Congressman Blumenauer said. Talk to the young people that really run the place. So with that, I've got the honor to introduce Megan Thompson with Senator Jackie Rosen from Nevada. She is a leader in the United States Senate for us, and we're just thrilled to have you here. So welcome.
Thank you so much. And thank you for putting me in the young category still. That's also nice. I really appreciate it, and I always look forward to this conversation. And
you don't mind looking at me, do you?
That's fine.
Okay.
Not a problem. And I know this is where Senator Rosen's heart is, and she regrets not being able to be 3 places at once, or 10, depending on what's going on. But thank you. So I can do a quick kind of overview of some of the latest things that she's working on. I told them before I came up, I've narrowed it to 3 bills instead of all of what we've been working on. And I'd love to touch just a little bit on what we being the senators, been doing. So, like many of your states, Nevada faces huge challenges with providers to actually give the care. So even if you have the coverage, who's going to see you? And we hear over and over that with our nursing shortage has just been such a challenge, especially when it comes to faculty and also upward mobility. So the Train More Nurses Act, bipartisan bill, has actually made it through the Health Committee already, which is great. This would direct both HHS and Department of Labor to update their recommendations on existing programs, do a full-scale review of all the programs out there within both departments to make sure we're really focusing on pathways for RNs to become faculty, especially those with 10 or more years experience. We hear a lot about those thinking about retirement. Love to see more of those nurses have a good opportunity to share their knowledge to become faculty. And also, like I said, the upward mobility for LPNs to become RNs if they choose to be. Make sure that path is really as easy as possible. Next one, supporting our Seniors Act, which is, you'll see a theme, they're all bipartisan, is one that would create a more robust long-term care commission. So the last one was in 2013. One of the recommendations was to actually create another commission because we have not solved this problem yet. There are a lot of great ideas. We really need to bring folks together in a comprehensive way and look at how we really support people where they're at. We look at the challenges of aging in place and pulling all of those resources together. The last one I'll mention right now is the Expanding Access to Palliative Care Act. So this is the big one that is core to when the senator talks about her experience as a caregiver to both her parents and her in-laws at the ends of their lives, some of which overlapped. She took a step back, this was before she was in Congress, took a step back from her career as a computer programmer and was a family caregiver and really experienced everything you can think about. I feel like the senator has gone through firsthand. So it's where a lot of her core compassion comes from, lived experience. So what she wants to do with this bill is make sure that under Medicare, you don't have to wait for hospice to get palliative care, that it should be available as soon as time of diagnosis for any serious illness or injury, and that you can do it concurrently. We've been able to do it for kids. The Affordable Care Act made that step. You know. And we need to do it now for seniors. And so that's been one of our top priorities in the palliative care space. So I'm going to end with that, but we will continue working. Again, that one is bipartisan too.
Yes.
And we'll keep pressing CMS on it as well. But that's a snapshot of where we're at.
Well, all three are critically important for us. Talk a little bit about the coalition and the work that you're doing in the bipartisan Comprehensive Care Coalition.
Absolutely, thank you. So, right, the Senate Comprehensive Care Caucus has just some great partners. She co-founded that with Senators Barrasso, Baldwin, and Fisher. And the last bill I mentioned, Expanding Access to Palliative Care Act, is kind of our core bill. There will be another resolution coming soon that we do yearly. But that is something where we focus on three main areas. Palliative care, expanding access, caregiver issues, and care coordination. And all of those really tie together. So any opportunity that we have for bipartisan work that those co-chairs are in agreement, we're glad. So keep the ideas coming.
And certainly for our issue, which is really quite unique, it really is nonpartisan, isn't it? It really affects everyone. When we start talking about our personal stories, like the senator's own, it really drives the passion.
It absolutely does, both I think among members, but also among staff. You know,
Yes.
most people have experienced
Yes.
an ill family member, really, or a friend who has. Someone has gone through something, and it really does help cut down those barriers.
Yes. What else, Megan, can we be doing as an organization, as individual providers and passionate advocates to help you move forward with this, to be successful ultimately? I know it's a long slog. You know, I was thinking about the Medicare hospice benefit. It took us about 8 years to actually put it together and ultimately get it passed, which is about record speed in Congress to get something to be a permanent part of Medicare. But obviously, palliative care and integrating a payment model is critical for sustainability. It really, you know, right now we're doing it, but it's really putting hodgepodging things together to make it work. We need Congress. We need to make it permanent. What else can we be doing to support you and support this issue?
Or, well, being here is
Yes.
great. Reaching out to the staff and members. Every office has a contact me on their website. Those letters actually get read, often a lot of them by the members, but that short paragraph story, I'm a caregiver, my mom was sick, my brother, my friend, this matters because that really does matter. Members get updates weekly usually of who wrote in about what. But these in-person meetings are really critical, and just telling that personal story, that really sticks with you. I still remember individual stories from when I first started on the Hill. So, making it personal to the extent you're comfortable with matters a lot. I think that emphasis that this is an issue that really is nonpartisan. We just have to bump it higher up on the list.
Yes.
And I think that's really where it comes in, that when we hear from constituents, that issue gets bumped up.
One thing that we did initially, and we haven't done for a number of years, but we might want to reconsider and think about it, is really doing presentations on the Hill, creating or putting a caucus meeting together or bringing staff together to talk in more detail and specificity about the work we're doing, which
Yeah.
I think could be helpful as well.
Yeah, that sounds great. Briefings are getting going again. It's been a process
Yes.
since COVID. But I think that, and I think also utilizing the virtual options too, is great. I've noticed a lot of both in-person and virtual. But keeping in mind that even if you've contacted an office last year, there's a lot of staff turnover.
Yes.
So it's always good to continue to be in touch.
Patience and perseverance.
Exactly.
Exactly. Excellent. Do we have I think we have a minute or two that we could ask if there are any questions or comments from you all about the work that Senator Rosen is doing, that we're doing on the Hill. Love to entertain a question or two. Anyone? Yes. With Pachita.
Okay. I didn't hear it the last. How does it overlap with Pachita? Sure.
Sure.
Do you want me to? I can
Yes,
take that.
please. Go for it.
So, and Senator Rosen also supports Pachita, which is not our bill, so I can give kind of the big picture. Is focused more on capacity and training. What the Expanding Access to Palliative Care Act does is through a demonstration project with the Innovation Center at CMS, would test out a model where Medicare will pay for palliative care services outside of the hospice benefit. So you're diagnosed with cancer, you have access to palliative care, to curative treatment, to whatever fits what you need, and you can have them at the same time. And as you all know, there's so much data that shows patients offered both do so much better, and it's a more compassionate way of giving care. Also, the studies I've seen, you do better as well. You have better outcomes, which is incredible, and also makes a lot of sense. So we focus really on that Medicare benefit, making sure patients can get that care, and with the goal that it's expanded beyond a demonstration.
Yes. One thing we're doing as well, and Congressman Blumenauer mentioned it, working with our colleagues at NPHI, the community-based not-for-profit hospice programs, is really modernizing the Medicare hospice benefit. It's been 40-some years, and it was originally designed around a certain model and diagnosis, but we're well beyond that now, so we're really looking at and look forward to working with you in redefining it and redefining how it works, which I think will make a huge difference in the future. Thank you. Well, I'd love to have more time for question and answer. It's always really wonderful to have you come and be with us. I know you're busy on the Hill. There's a lot of activity going on, and so we appreciate the time and most importantly, the commitment that Senator Rosen and you have made to our work in supporting our efforts to develop a benefit and to provide higher quality care to people with serious and advanced illness.
Great.
So let's give
Thank you so much for having
Megan
me.
a round of applause. Really grateful for you being here. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Give the Senator our best. We're going to have one more video here from our other champion, Senator Mark Warner. We're fortunate Senator Warner and Congressman Blumenauer were both with us at the very beginning. I remember going to Senator Warner and talking about the concept of C-TAC, and he was there and said, absolutely, let's work together. So we appreciate his support. Obviously, with so much going on the Hill, he couldn't be with us today, but he did do a short video. So let's roll with the video.
Hello, I'm Virginia Senator Mark Warner, and I want to thank you all for allowing me to share a few words with such a dedicated and passionate group of healthcare professionals. As you may know, I've been a staunch supporter of improving access to advanced care planning for patients throughout my tenure in the Senate. Decisions about care planning are some of the hardest for a family to make, but they're also some of the most important. I know firsthand how tough this process can be on patients and their families. My mom suffered for Alzheimer's for 11 years, unable to speak for 9 of those years, and trying to have that discussion with my dad and my sister was really tough about what my mom would have wanted. So I believe that families and healthcare providers are entitled to the resources and the information they need to make the best decisions for their patients and their loved ones. Frankly, I do think we've made a lot of progress on this front. We have been able to get some level of reimbursement for these kind of conversations. Last Congress, again, I introduced the Improving Access to Advanced Care Planning Act, and I'm planning to reintroduce that again soon this Congress. Folks with serious illnesses in that stage of life deserve to have a say in what their care should look like. And families deserve the certainty of knowing they are honoring their loved ones' wishes. This bipartisan, bicameral bill would help more Americans access advanced care planning services in Medicare by allowing actually trained social workers to provide these kind of counseling services. It would also remove beneficiary cost sharing and would provide more education for providers so they're aware of this benefit and how to actually get reimbursed for it. And advanced care planning is only one part of the important kind of hospice-related work that I'm tackling. As a member of the Senate Finance Committee with jurisdiction over Medicare, I'm committed to ensuring we protect and continue to improve the hospice benefit. And I look forward to working with you on this. Thanks again for inviting me to speak with you, and I look forward to making sure that we make these ideas part of the law and a reality. Thanks so much.